And you are all set.
Okay, time being 7:30 p.m. The Franklin Zoning Board of Appeals will come to order. The meeting is being held online via the Zoom platform. This meeting is being recorded and televised. The listing of matters are those reasonably anticipated by the chair, which may be discussed at the meeting. Not all items listed may in fact be discussed, and other items not listed may also be brought up for discussion to the extent permitted by law. This meeting will be held via the Zoom platform. You can log in. You can go to the Franklin website, town website, look up the ZBA thing and get the login. You may also join the meeting on your smartphone by calling 1-929-205-6099. For those looking to view the meeting, it can be viewed live at this time on Comcast 11 or Verizon 29. It is also streaming directly from Franklin TV's website. Visit franklin.tv and just click on the Town Hall TV channel.
Time will be at approximately 7:30 p.m. 237 Pleasant Street, St. John's Episcopal Church, Franklin.
Recording in progress.
Applicant is seeking a building permit to construct a 64-unit multi-family development. The building permit is not a comprehensive permit from the ZBA.
Applicants present.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. It's Richard Cornetta, attorney for the applicant. I hope you can hear me.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay.
Hang on 1 minute. Let me just check to see if there's any abutters for 237 Pleasant Street, St. John's Episcopal Church.
Christy and John Apicella, Padden Road, Franklin, or abutters.
Okay. Anyone else?
Yeah.
Brendan and Brandy Yeager on Padden Road as well, 26 abutters.
Hello. What are you doing? Colleen Barnes, 23 Philomena Way.
Anyone else? Okay, Attorney Canetta, go ahead and start your presentation.
Thank you. We are, as you know, this is a continued public hearing. It's our third appearance before the board. And joining our presentation team this evening is John Harding. He is our principal project manager with the Community Builders. And we also have, I believe on the line, Frank Holmes of Langen Associates. They are our consulting engineers. And so what I'd like to do is turn our presentation over to Mr. Harding, who will give you an update as to where we are, what we've been doing since our last visit. Then I believe our program will be referred to Frank, who will deal with more specific engineering issues and traffic concerns. So John, if you are on the line, I invite you to the podium.
I am here. Can you hear me?
I
Yes.
can hear you.
Okay, great. I'll be very brief and just give an update of sort of what's happened since the last time we were here. At the last hearing, we had submitted responses to the peer review comments. We submitted them very recently before that hearing, so you had not had time to review them at that point. Since then, the peer review consultant has had time to respond to those and has issued a letter. We've also updated drawings in response to those review comments. Additionally, we were asked to update our traffic study to be more in-depth, include a lot more detail. We've done that and provided it to you about a week ago. I'll also add that we provided that traffic study to the Department of Public Works as well. We have not met with them or received comments from them yet, but they have received it. Lastly, we also got a sewer will serve letter from the Department of Works earlier today and sent it over, but obviously it was earlier today, so I don't imagine you've had any time to look at it or review it.
Yeah. It's pretty short and to the point. I mean, it's just a letter saying that they got capacity there, that's all. I mean, and I'm pretty sure there's been discussions between our consulting engineer and your engineer about what they're going to have to do in the future as far as water tie-ins and sewer tie-ins.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Okay.
They have
Just for the record, just so everybody knows, our consultants, neither one of them, the engineer has a previous appointment at another meeting tonight, and our attorney is in North Carolina with a family emergency, so neither one of them will be here tonight. So, but they're up to speed. I know I think that our engineer talk with your engineer as late as
Yes.
today, as late as this morning. So, okay,
Yeah.
go ahead. You continue on.
So those are the primary updates. And then I think at this point, it's just passing it off to our engineers to go into a little bit more depth about the updates to our drawings and what came out of the traffic study. And then we're here to answer
Okay.
any questions or comments. So
Okay.
Frank or Maximo, take it away.
Yes, good evening, Chairman. Can I share my screen so that we can share a small presentation?
Sure.
I need to get, okay, perfect. Oh. So, good evening, members of the board. As previously stated, we conducted a traffic impact assessment for the proposed development following Mass DOT guidelines. And today we're just going to give you a brief update of the summary of the study and its results. So in order to study the existing conditions of the area, we collected turning movement counts at the intersections highlighted in blue, which is 1, 2, 3, and 4, and also collected 72-hour continuous bidirectional counts with speed data along 2 segments of Pleasant Street highlighted in green here, as shown in green here. This data served as the baseline of the existing conditions for our study. In order to take into account seasonal fluctuations, we adjusted the data collected with a 13% seasonal factor based on Mass DOT historical data and projected those volumes to 2029 with a 1% growth factor for each year. So knowing our baseline for 2029, we estimated the anticipated trip generation for the proposed development using the latest data from the ITE trip generation manual and determined that the project is expected to generate 486 trips on a daily basis, 43 peak hour trips in the morning, that is peak hour trips from 7 to 9 a.m. and 48 peak hour trips in the afternoon, which is during 4 to 6 p.m. basically. Based on this additional data or traffic that is going to be added to the network, we estimated the development impacts and determined, as shown on screen, that at each of the intersection, the increase in traffic is not expected to be more than 3%. We also performed a capacity analysis at each of the study intersections and found that there won't be a noticeable change in the traffic operations at each of these intersections. And we also performed a crash analysis at each of the intersections and found that all the crash rates are well below the average rates based on Mass DOT historical data. And in addition, just a couple of days ago, 2 days ago, we received confirmation from the police department that there hasn't been crash reports in the latest 5 years of Patton Road and Pleasant Street. They did say that their system, it's a little bit complicated, but at the moment they weren't showing any type of accidents at this intersection. And finally, based on the speed data collected, we evaluated the sight distances at both of the driveways for the development, and we determined that both driveways meet the sight distance requirements based on AASHTO, as shown here. So this will be the driveway for the church, and this will be the driveway for the residential development. And with that, that's kind of like the basis of our results for the traffic analysis. I'll leave it to my colleague Frank, that he's going to give you a brief update on the site plan and an update on our conversations with the peer reviewer.
Hey, good evening, Frank Holmes with Langen Engineering, civil engineer. And what we're looking at here is the rendering of the site plan. Since our last hearing, we have responded to the peer review comments and made, some very minor updates to the site plan. Most of our responses to the peer review's initial letter were really in the nature of providing some additional information or providing some clarifications. There were very few actual plan changes that were needed. But briefly, I'll just describe the few that were made. One was that a guardrail was added to the driveway on the southwestern portion of the site. To the left on this plan of buildings 2, building 4, and building 5. We did add a guardrail to the side of that driveway. We also clarified some of the grading to get to the dumpster areas on site, and some additional grading just to show that those dumpsters would be ADA accessible. And we added a sidewalk to one of the 3 dumpsters on site. And then lastly, we added lighting to the church parking lot. So our previous plans had indicated that lighting would be provided, but the lighting was not shown. And in the revised plans, we showed where the lighting would go and provided more detail there. And so, as John mentioned, we received an updated peer review letter yesterday. And I would summarize that by saying that I think that most of the comments have been addressed. There are a few areas that we need to provide some additional clarification still. But I don't believe that any of the additional information that we'll be providing will result in any changes to the site plans. So I think that the plans that were submitted, I believe it was on January 11th. So, recently, our revised site plans, I don't believe that they'll need to change any more to completely satisfy and close out the peer review comments. And so with that, I think that concludes the presentation that we have, but would be happy to answer any questions.
Okay, just before you continue on, or before we continue on, could you just talk about, you did a drawing for the church as far as the parking lot goes? What could be constructed there in the future if need be?
Correct. So that was one of the peer review comments in the initial letter, was recognizing that the church property, there's 53 parking spaces there now. And the question was, what is required by zoning on the church property? And I think that comment was that we should demonstrate that we could provide the number of parking spaces required by zoning on the property if that were needed. Even though, it's really not needed in the existing condition, that's all there is there now, and the church really doesn't need more parking. But we did provide a sketch drawing that showed that the total number of parking spaces, could be built on the church property if that were required at some point in the future. And I think that sketch was found to be acceptable by the peer review consultant.
Okay. Thank you. Who's next?
I think that's it for us.
Okay. All right. I know we have a few abutters that may have some questions. I'll open it up. If everybody's just going to complain, that's good. But if the complaint is something that you've heard already, you can just agree with the previous speaker. And that way there we can move along. Just keep in mind that we're not going to close the public hearing tonight because there's still some outstanding issues, minor things that I guess got to be gone over. I think there was just some discussions between the engineers today, so I'm not sure what that's going to result in, what changes that is, but I wouldn't want to close the hearing yet until we get all that stuff. So anyway, with that being said, anybody please identify yourself if you got a question from one of the abutters.
Mr. Chairman, I'm Christy Apicella on Patton Road. Through you,
Okay.
may I ask a question?
Sure.
The peer review by Hancock, I just noticed was posted today. So it noted that the traffic impact assessment was completed, which is fantastic. Thank you for doing that additional work so that we have a bigger picture. But it wasn't clear if they reviewed in detail if the traffic impact assessment was, if there were any errors or mistakes. I reviewed it and noted that there's a lot of directional mistakes. There's a lot of references to a Franklin Street, which doesn't exist in the town of Franklin. So it raises some questions for me of the overall accuracy of the study itself. So I was curious to know if Hancock had weighed in on it being more than checking the boxes of what MassDOT laid out. Did anybody go through to check numbers or ensure that it was complete and technically accurate?
He did not have any questions or comments on the traffic review other than he said it was complete. You know, I mentioned to him, because I read your letter, you know, that there might have been some copy and paste from some other article or something like that that you thought might have happened. I don't know, but he said that he wasn't concerned with those. But, you know, I mean, the maps that are designed there, the maps that are laid out there are accurate, aren't they?
I believe the maps are. There's just I found it confusing to try to understand which driveway was being referred to, because there were changes of references of north, south, east, or west, and which ones were for the church and which ones were for the residential. I think I followed what was intended, but again, it seems like something that I would have expected an internal QA/QC review at a civil engineering firm would have caught some of those errors that were also noted back in November that carried through on the description of existing conditions. So I'm just looking for confirmation that everything was done the way that it was supposed to have been done, considering the number of errors that I saw.
I had a discussion with the consulting engineer today, probably about maybe 1:30, 2 o'clock, and he didn't have any issues with the traffic report. You know, maybe he saw the street names and stuff like that, but by going by the map and going by, you know, what he was looking at and what they were trying to present, he said it was fine.
Well, the board also, I submitted a list of questions that I had asked the board to consider. I know that the 4 intersections were included in this study, and one focused on the site driveway that is presumably is to the residential area. I was interested to know more about how that functions in relation to Patton Road and the church driveway. So there's essentially three intersections in that tight area. And I was curious if signal warrants or other mitigation may be triggered if that was looked at holistically rather than looking at spot intersections based on only the peak hour counts.
I suppose we could ask the applicant's engineer. I'm not sure if he's the guy that did the traffic study or not, but he represents the company. He might have an answer to that. I can tell you one thing, that, you know, Patton Road is a street, it's a town street. Pleasant Street's a town street. The entrance to the residential section that they're proposing to build is a driveway. And the same thing with the church, it's a driveway. So they're a little bit different in context about what you're talking about. The only thing that I saw and what was pointed out to me was the only shortfalls on anything on Pleasant Street right in that area is the Patton Road itself. I guess if you want to look towards the Norfolk side, I'm not sure that they meet the site distance for what should have been. You know, maybe the planning board missed it. Maybe at the time that there wasn't any vegetation there. Maybe they could see far enough. Maybe the regulations were different. But the only ones that have any problem with any site distances at all is Patton Road. And I asked them about the right turn only, right turn exit, right turn entrance. You know, he said that was, you know, for the site that we're dealing with across the street, the church site, it's not an issue. He agrees that Patton Road, it may take a little bit longer for somebody to exit Patton Road. So people get nervous and they want to pull out a little bit quicker. They see a break in the action. They think they can make it, so they pull out. But that's a site distance problem with Patton Road. And I wouldn't expect that these people are going to be responsible to fix that. So with that being said,
with you. I completely agree. It's an existing condition. There's a site constraint on Patton Road. We chose to live here, but I think the concerns, at least the concerns in our household, is the potential for left turn conflicts. That you have two driveways today, one, the church, the one today the nearest to the common, the west driveway is one way in, and then there's one way out for the church that's nearest to the Norfolk side. The development is proposing to make both of those driveways two-way, and the left turn conflicts coming out of the residential area where the most of the trips are projected to be from will be in conflict with Patton Road, and we already can't see around the corner. We're not going to be able to see the people making left turns out of that driveway. The site triangles that were presented meet distances, but for AASHTO standards, but it's not clear if that was field verified to make sure that there were no vertical obstructions within those site triangles.
The engineer for the applicant.
Yes. So first, let me respond to the first question. We did conduct a signal warrant analysis for the intersection of Patton Road, and which we included in our traffic study. And Patton Road just doesn't generate enough traffic to warrant a signal at this location. In addition to that, the expected turn movements or left turns, Patton Road, most of the people, I guess, knowing that of the site distance issues, 80% of the people exiting from Patton Road are turning right. They're not turning left because they know of the issue. And this is shown on the traffic study. In the peak hour, which is the hour where most traffic is in this area, there's only 5 people exiting Patton Road turning left. And so the conflicts of left turn movements, it's not going to be an issue, and it's going to be very, very minimal, because if you're from Patton Road and you're exiting our driveway for the residential, those vehicles will be able to see each other.
As a resident of Patton Road, I respectfully disagree. But I'd ask the ZBA to please consider additional mitigation that can help make the residential area safer. My understanding is that's part of this process. The comprehensive permit does not have to be granted without conditions. We as a community have an opportunity to shape this development to make sure that it's to the benefit of our entire community and doesn't make a current unsafe situation even worse. That is my request to the board.
Board Chair, would you mind if I speak?
Oh, go ahead.
Answer a little bit. Thank you. Thank you for your comment, Christy. Is that correct? I read your letter as well. I'd like to just say I appreciate that some of it was sort of proactive, suggesting possible mitigations and not just problems. Based on our traffic study, we think that the only mitigation necessary is some signage. However, I want to be clear that we won't be able to present any additional mitigation, because we wouldn't want to present anything specific that goes above and beyond that without talking to the Department of Public Works first and getting their input. So I just want to make it clear that we can't promise that we're going to propose anything beyond that. However, we are happy to look into those other options more deeply and are already trying to do that with the Department of Public Works.
Thank you. That's why I'm asking the ZBA to consider those things. I wouldn't expect a proponent to offer up something that may not be, you're trying to get your development through as quickly and easily as possible. I can appreciate that. But as somebody who's has lived here for a long time and will continue to live here, we want to make sure that it is consistent with our community. And I'd ask the members of the ZBA to look at that through the town departments and staff to suggest mitigation that can reduce the impacts of this development. Thank you.
The town administrator is aware of the concerns. You know, he's the one that told me that I guess it was staff that suggested that they do a traffic study anyway, because that was brought up right at the get-go. You know, they've produced, you know, more than I thought they would have, but you know, it's coming to effect. If the town can do anything, I'm sure that he'd be willing to, you know, put their town's resources towards that. I don't think it's incumbent upon the developer to have to do offsite mitigation for something that's already existing.
I'm not asking them to change an existing condition. I'm asking them to mitigate the impacts of their development that has an impact on an already unsafe situation.
So noted. Thank you.
Thank you.
John, anything else you want to follow up with?
I just had a question. My name's Julie Shea. Okay. I'm up on Monterey Drive. To Christy's point, I didn't quite know if I heard this when the gentleman was presenting the traffic report. I did hear a 3% estimated increased volume, but I wanted to know if there was anything mentioned about the speed limit and kind of what their observations were about people traveling greater than the speed limit. And I think that kind of speaks to Christy's thing about mitigating factors, because, you know, obviously if speed's an issue on the road already, that it's.
Well, that was in the actual traffic study itself. I'm not sure exactly how they do. I think they take 80% reading what the speed is of the cars that are using the road. And I think they came up with 40 miles an hour. I don't think it's posted at that. I think it's posted at 35, maybe 30, but probably 35. So
it's
when they
posted at
take all their
35.
go ahead.
It's
Yeah,
posted
okay.
at 35. So basically, we collected those 72 hours of counts that we collected at Pleasant Street. At each of the vehicles, we collected speed data, not only counted the cars, but actually collected the speed data to measure the speed of those cars. And we determined that these segments, we have an 85 percentile speed of 40 mile per hour, and the posted speed limit is 35. So that is well within the standards based on Mass DOT standards.
All right, what was the upper limit of that? Like, what was the maximum? Do you
40.
recall?
40. That was
No,
the 85th percentile.
That was the average was 40. What was
No, not the average.
Not the
Not the average.
It's
The
80%.
85th percentile.
that? Okay, and what was the greatest outlier?
I don't have it right now.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else? Okay, I don't hear anybody. I'll go to the board. Megan, any questions?
No questions from me, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, Chris? Is Chris on tonight?
I am, Bruce. Thank you.
Hi, okay.
I think one of the only other questions I had unresolved, I think from my last notes of the previous meeting, and I know that they made some tweaks to the site plan. There was a comment, and maybe I just didn't jot it down, about having access or the ability for parking and access to the Delcart area. And on the site plan, is it access only to a parking area on Delcart, or would there be parking on your site for Delcart?
There's parking on our site for Delcart. Yeah, there's a small parking lot on the sort of bottom right of the site plan that is where we're proposing the additional trails that would connect into Delcart.
That's adjacent to the generator pad? Is that what it is?
I'd have to pull it up.
That's correct. And if we can, happy to share the screen again to point it where that is on the site plan, but it is in the bottom right-hand portion of the site plan where we're showing the generator. There's a few parking spaces that are designated there for the Delcart parking.
Great. No, thank you. Mr. Chairman, no further questions.
Okay. Archie?
Sorry, I was muted. I'm just questioning whether the plan set and all this has been run by the fire department. There was a letter I read today that came through. I don't know that they given it their
January 4th.
approval yet.
January 4th, there was a letter. I haven't seen it, but I heard, I understand there's a letter that was January 4th.
All right, so at some point we'll get their feedback on it. As far as how they feel about the build out or the building that's going on there, their accessibility.
There must have been some comments because I see they built not a temporary road, but a hard surface behind the last building there, so that they usually do that so the fire department can get by. I don't have their comments, but I know there was a letter, there was emails going back and forth if anybody had it, but supposedly there was one written January 4th that I don't have. I haven't seen it that I can remember.
Do we have that, Mr. Canetta? Attorney Canetta?
We were discussing that today, and I believe I communicated with Ms. Thayer about it, and I think we do need to follow up with the fire department to recover that letter. It appears it has not been submitted. There was a meeting with them. Our team has met with the fire department, and they did not at that time have any objections to the site, but certainly I would let their letter speak for itself.
Okay. All right, so then I guess we'll see that at some point.
Yeah.
I don't have any further questions, Mr. Chairman.
All right, Philip.
Yeah, I was reading the DPW letter today about the water and the sewer. I have questions on the sewer to make sure that they can do what they say they're going to do.
Well, Philip, the discussion I had with the consulting engineer today was one of the things that they were talking about. They just wanted to make sure because they got a pump that's going to go to the other pump at the end of Pad or Monterey or wherever that one is, and it's going to pump from there. So they might have to put a lockout on one of the pumps at the busiest times so that they don't overflow the station there. They might have to do some mitigation with pump size or something like that. And I think he said that there was probably going to be some sort of a holding tank that they may have to put in on their site, but all that stuff will come up when it's time to issue a building permit, I think. I mean, obviously we want to know about it, make sure it works, but I think that stuff it's just like all these other 40B permits. We get through the concept part of it here, and then we either approve or deny. If it's approved, then they get their marching orders. I mean, these plans are pretty well propagated already. So as far as all the site stuff is pretty well done. The only thing that have to clarify is those sewer connections and the water connection with the DPW. So, I mean, it's something that they know, that everybody knows about, but I'm not sure it's appropriate at this time. But that's what the consulting engineer told me.
When I read it from the DPW, I'm just following up, that's all.
Yeah, no, I think they just said that the capacity is there for them and that they'd have to do some, maybe mitigate some stuff either with pump size or a holding tank on the property. But there was more than enough capacity from what I read there. So anyway. Okay, I guess I'm all set for now. I've had I actually talked to a few people today about this. So, I'm up to speed with everything that's going on right now. Richie, February 2nd is our next hearing. Is there anything that's outstanding that we can't have in by then?
I think February 2nd would be good. I'll defer to our team leader, John Harding, on that.
We will likely be able to update the drawings with the small amount of changes that are still necessary. The letter from the fire department, we can't guarantee whether that will be in by February 2nd, as it's from the fire department. And
okay, this has gone out when we start these. The secretary sends them out to all the departments and everything else. And if they don't answer, we have to assume that they don't have any problems with it. You know what I mean? Okay. So, and this has been discussed more than at this meeting. There were staff meetings that that you guys went to, I would assume, at the town hall. And that's where you came up with the traffic study and everything else. And I would assume the fire department was there that day too, as they usually are.
They were.
Or it was a representative from there. So I don't know if they raised any concerns at that point when you were there or not, but they haven't, as far as I know, they haven't put them out to us.
The only concerns that they raised at that meeting are already incorporated into the site plan.
Okay, I suspect I saw that the gravel, the hard packed road out behind one of the buildings there. So I don't think it's paved. I don't know what it is, but so that they could get around if they had to with the trucks. So
that was one of the comments.
Okay. I know one of the other comments comes into under the perusal of the building permit. They like a big scuttle hole to get up into the attics, to get up there with their gear. That might have been one, might have not have been one. I don't know. But like I said, I don't know what other comments they had or will have, but I'm pretty sure that somebody is aware of the project going on. And if there was a problem with them, I would suspect that we would have heard about it by now. And if there's something that comes up, I don't think anything that they want would be insurmountable. So. Okay. With that being said, Casey, what do we got on the 2nd? What time?
Mr. Chairman, there's 2 other people that have their hands raised, but February 2nd, we have 2 applicants, so it would be 7:40.
Okay. All right. And, any other abutters want to speak?
Julia Shea.
Call out a name, Casey.
Julia Shea.
Call out a name.
Yeah, I just
Julia
had a question with regards to the pump station at the end of Monterey. So I assume that any changes or modifications to that would be on the church property site and not to the building that's at the end of our road.
They would definitely. They're going to have a pump on their site, but they're going to pump over and then probably going to go to a gravity main and then into that pump station that's there. There may be some pump improvements at that station. Usually I don't know that they got to put another holding tank in or what. I don't know if it's going to come to that, but anything that would be done that would benefit that line would probably be done at that station. I'm sure there's got to be property there that they can do it on. So I don't know if that answers your question or not.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it would, that's fine. I just wanted to know, like, if there were going to be modifications to the building and the established thing that was there already. But I
If
guess
it's just a
that would
pump
depend
issue,
on-
yeah, if it's just a pump issue, I doubt it. They can just increase the horsepower or increase the impellers or something like that. If there's something to do with holding or whatever, I know that there was some discussion about putting a holding tank on their property to hold the sewer for a while until if they had to lock it out at certain peak times during the day so that they could dump their stuff in it when you guys weren't using it as much, so, and they know what it is because they know how much the pump's from. But anyway, that's all.
Mr. Chair, could I speak to that? I think I could maybe bring a little bit of clarity as to what we think might need to happen. So I think that, what would happen going forward is an evaluation of the town's pumping station just to ensure that it has the capacity during peak times to accept flows from our project. If it does not, then, what we might need to do, and I think as the chair mentioned, maybe have a holding tank on site to hold on the sewerage and pump it in off hours, like in the middle of the night, right? When there aren't peaks. But no improvements to the town's pumping station itself or the building there are envisioned by the town engineer.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Who else, Casey, had their hand up?
Building Commissioner Gus Brown.
Okay.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman. I have a letter from the fire department that's dated December 1st, 2022. And their comment was, we have received updated plans that addressed our concerns. We have no further comments at this time.
Okay, thank you. Yeah. Okay. With that being said, Casey, all hands down?
Yes.
Okay. All right. If anybody doesn't have anything else they want to say, I'll entertain a motion to continue this until February 2nd at 7:40 p.m.
Second it.
Motion made and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none. Roll call vote. Archie?
Yes.
Philip?
Yes.
Chair votes yes. Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you, abutters.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Time being approximately 7:35 p.m., 55 Daniel Street. Shoshana Propen, applicant is seeking to construct an addition with an accessory dwelling unit. The building permit is denied and will have a special permit from ZBA.
The applicant present.
Yes, I'm here.
Can you identify yourself, please?
Yes, I'm Shoshana Gropin, 55 Daniel Street.
Okay. Are there any abutters for 55 Daniel Street? Okay, Shoshana, tell us what you want to do. It's incumbent on you to tell us what you want to do.
So I would love to build an in-law for my father. I have my main goal is to have my father live with me, but while keeping the integrity of the home that I love so much. We just moved here a little over 2 years ago, and I love the town, and I always wanted to live in an old New England home, and I have it now, and it's going to be, it'll be my goal to keep the look of the house, the look of the street, whatever I needed to do so it flowed nicely and looked beautiful and it was, part of the house.
Okay.
So
it's an addition off the side of the house?
Yep, it's going to be side. It'll be an in-law with a common area. We'll share the same driveway. It will add just one car. Yeah. It's a place.
There's a supporting statement that you should read. I don't know who typed it up for you, but if you did, it shouldn't be a problem for you to read it. There's 7. Yeah, there's 7 questions here that are on here. It's a supporting statement for a special permit. They went in with the application.
Yeah, I see it. I'm so sorry. What did you want me to read?
Just read the question and read us the answer.
Okay, sure. Sorry. Number 1, proposed project addresses or is consistent with neighborhood or town need. And the answer is proposed project is consistent with other single-family homes in the area and will be designed to blend in and retain the character of the other homes. The second question is vehicular traffic flow, access and parking, and pedestrian safety are properly addressed. And the answer is the in-law addition will add one car to the two currently parked on a gravel area along the front of the property. Number 3, public roadway, drainage, utilities, and other infrastructure are adequate or will be upgraded to accommodate development. And the answer is upgrades to existing systems will be made as needed. Number 4, neighborhood character and social structure will not be negatively impacted. And yes, there will be no change to the character and social structure of the neighborhood. Number 5, project will not destroy or cause substantial damage to any environmentally significant natural resource habitat or feature, or if it will, proposed mitigation, remediation, replication, or compensatory measures are adequate. And the addition will be built on an existing developed property that the Conservation Commission has approved, subject to ZBA approval. Number 6, number, height, bulk, location, and sitting of the buildings and structures will not result in abutting property being deprived of light or fresh air circulating, or being exposed to flooding or subjected to excessive noise, odor, light, vibrations, or airborne particulate. And the answer is no, there will be no impact. And number 7, water consumption, sewer use, taking into consideration current and future local water supply and demand in the wastewater treatment capacity will not be excessive. And the answer is water consumption and sewer use will definitely not be excessive.
Shoshana, you're tied into municipal water and sewer?
Yes.
Okay. And the other thing we need to know is it's your father that's going in, or your father-in-law?
My father, yes.
We need his name.
Mr. Chairman, I'm here. My name is Mark Gropin.
Mark Gropin?
Yes, sir.
Yep. Same last name.
Okay. We just take names. It helps the building commissioner do enforcement if the need ever arises.
Okay.
Okay. I'll just ask again, are there any abutters that for 55 Daniel Street that like to make a statement or ask a question? Okay, hearing none. Megan, any questions?
No questions from me, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. Chris?
No, Mr. Chairman, it's a nice big site, plenty of parking. I think it's a good addition to the home.
Archie?
I do have one question. Looks like to the left of your house, there's a road that's called Holly Lane, according to your site map. But I'm looking at the Google Maps here, and it appears to me it's just a driveway. Is that the case?
I believe what you're looking at is my neighbor's driveway. It's just a road that goes far back to her house. Hold on, let me. Yes, that's my neighbor's driveway.
Okay. Well, it's odd that they would show it as Holly Lane, but
yeah,
I don't have any further questions. You have an adorable home.
Actually,
thank you.
It may have been they may have put in Holly Lane in there to be able to build the other home. I don't know if it's at the end of Holly Lane or it's beside it, or is that house behind your house?
Yeah, it goes behind the.
Yeah, okay, so that's probably what it was. He probably got a private road approved with just the circle probably provided the frontage for the house in the back there. But anyway, not uncommon. Philip.
No problems. Everything was good.
Okay. Yeah. All right. I don't have any questions. I'll entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
So
I'll entertain a motion. Yeah, there we go. Motion made and second. Any discussion? Hearing none. Roll call vote. Chair votes yes. Philip.
Yes.
Archie.
Yes.
Okay. I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I can make a motion to grant the special permit for the second dwelling unit property located at 55 Daniel Street, with the condition of the special permit be that the in-law or father, Mark Gropin, reside at the property along with his daughter, Soshani Gropin, and that the special permit for the second dwelling unit becomes null and void if either party moves or transfers ownership. No separate utilities shall be permitted unless required by the DPW at 55 Daniel Street. And the board also determines that the social economic community needs which are served by the proposal will be met. Traffic flow and safety will not be encumbered. Adequate utilities and other public services exist. The proposal is consistent with the neighborhood character and social structure as it exists now, and that the quality of the natural environment will stay intact. There's no potential physical impact to the town of Franklin by issuing this special permit, and also that the special permit be recorded at the Registry of Deeds, all of which is shown on the drawing dated October 31st, 2022, titled Certified Plot Plan located at 55 Daniel Street, Franklin, Massachusetts by Continental Land Survey.
Seconded.
All right, motion made and seconded. Any discussion? Shoshana, I got a question.
Yes.
You're not going to require Mark to shovel the driveway for you this winter, are you?
It depends.
Okay.
No, absolutely.
Okay. All right. With that being said, roll call vote. Archie.
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
Philip.
Yes.
Chair votes yes. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Time being approximately 7:45, 97 Miller Street, Farmers Shortcut. Applicant has constructed a 10 by 12 deck that is 33.4 from the left side yard setback. The 40 is required. The building permit is denied where other variance is CBA.
Applicants present.
That's the one with the letter.
Hang on. We got an applicant there anywhere? Kyle, Bruce. I thought Bruce was going to be in on this. The engineer. Hello.
Here we go.
There we go. I figured. I gave you the benefit.
I was there, but kind of phased it out. It was quite a lengthy presentation before there. I'm Bruce Wilson with GW Site Solutions. With me is also Kyle and Kyle Bertram. We're here before the board seeking a variance to replace a house that was destroyed by a fire. Our big hardship is that at some point the town changed the zoning from a 15,000 square foot lot to the rural residential 1, which requires 40,000 square feet. So, I mean, no matter what we do, we aren't going to be able to conform here. What we've done is placed a modular ranch style home. The existing home was a ranch style home, and trying to make it fit with the setbacks of the original lot as it was approved as a 15,000 square foot lot, with setbacks of front being 30 and the side and rear being 20. The lot will have, like I said, a ranch style house with a family room attached on the front, and then the garage under the front because of the contouring of the grading that's there. It's pretty straightforward. We were able to maintain the original setback requirements, being the side yard 20. I've got 20.5 on the right side, 21 feet on the left, and we're placing the house approximately back where the existing house was at about 43.4 feet off of the street. Without getting a variance here, it'd be next to impossible to put a home on that property with the current setbacks for that the rural residential 1 zone there. So, I mean, looking at it, the zone just makes it impossible to conform and meet all the zoning requirements. All of the similar houses in the neighborhood all suffered the same result of the zone change. They're all similar in size. So we're not derogating from any of the other homes that are in the neighborhood there. We're just trying to follow suit and put something back on the lot to replace the house that was burnt.
Okay. I mean, what's this got, 100 foot of frontage?
It's got, hold on, I got the chart here. We have 100 feet of frontage.
Okay, so if it complied with zoning, which it doesn't because they changed it, it would have 200 feet of frontage. So that way you'd be able to make the 40 feet on both sides easy. So,
Yeah, no, if we-
I mean,
If we had
this is the
40,000
best.
square feet and 200 feet of frontage, we'd easily be able to make that structure fit.
Yeah, you wouldn't even be here. But because the house burned down, it's got to be replaced. You're not asking for anything more than what was there. Maybe a little bit bigger house, but not, at least you're the same distance off each sideline. So I'm happy with that. But anyway, you all set, Bruce?
I'm all set. If you have any questions, I'm here, or maybe Kyle might be able to chime in.
Okay,
It's
no, I'm
modular home.
going to open it up. I'm going to open it up to the abutters if there are any. I don't know if there's any here or not. Casey, any butters for this? Did you notice on the screen? Anybody got their hand up or anything?
The Middlemans are butters.
Okay, you're free to speak. Just identify yourselves again, your address, name and address.
Patricia and Martin Middleman at 257 Daniels Street. And we are in support of the Bertram's getting the variance so that they can rebuild their home.
Yeah, I'm sure you're tired of looking at the burnt out house there. Yeah, I know.
I'm sure they'd want to be back in their house. They've probably been.
Yeah, I know.
Time.
Yeah, it's been a while now. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're in favor.
All right. Thank you very much. Anyone else? Is there anyone else, Casey?
Larry Chauncey.
Yep.
Larry Tachi.
Yes. Go.
Yeah.
Address?
263 Daniels.
Okay.
I'll be on the house on the left from Kyle and Kelly. I don't have a problem with it. I was just curious if there was going to be a detached garage or not. That's what I was concerned about, that where it's going to be under the house, the garage.
Well, it's going to be off the front. It's going to be off the front of the house, partially off. I don't think it's going to be a garage under going right in the house. I saw a drawing of it. I just don't have it in front of me, but it's going to meet all the. It's going to meet all the front yard setbacks and all that. I'm not sure if there's a. Bruce, is there a room over that garage for extra space?
Yes, there's a 24 family room that'll be over the top of the garage.
Okay. Level with the structure that you're replacing, correct?
Correct.
It'd be like
it's
one
all
floor.
all one story, and the garage. If you look at the topography sheet there, you can see that the property pitches up from the street, so it's real simple in order to do a garage under, and then maybe a little bit of a retaining wall.
Will it be on the left side or the right side?
The driveway and garage would be where the existing driveway is now.
Yeah.
So it'll come up there, and then it's a front entry garage under.
Yeah, it's on the right side of the house, Larry.
Hi, Kelly.
So it's on Tom's side.
All right, no, I was just curious about. I don't understand anything about, variances and architecture. I know I have one myself with a room in the side, and it just seemed a lot easier then. I don't know.
Well, I don't know. All this was built back in the 60s, and that's what the zoning was at the time, I think. So it's changed since then. Why they changed it, I don't know. They're going around and they're changing some stuff, to make lot lines, or make district lines even and stuff like that. For what reason, I don't know. I haven't heard anybody complain. But in this particular situation, you can't do anything. It is what it is. So anything that happens up there, almost anything anybody does up there, up in Skyline, they need relief, some sort of relief. So we try to keep it reasonable. This seems reasonable to me because it's equal distance on each side of the, on each side of the house, 20 feet. So as far as I'm concerned, I don't have any problem with it. But
yeah. And currently now it's about a little more than 20 feet each side. Am I right?
Yeah, they're proposing 21 feet, I think, on each side. So if it's 20 now, it's not going to be any closer than it is.
Okay.
All right.
Fine.
Thank you. Thank you. Thanks for your comments.
Thank you.
All right. Was there anybody else? Casey, did you see anybody else on there?
No, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, I'll entertain, let's go, did we go to the board? We went to the board already?
No, we didn't go to the board yet.
Okay, Megan, any questions?
No questions. Looks good and
Okay.
straightforward.
Chris, any questions,
Nothing for me, Mr. Chairman.
comments? Okay. Archie, questions, comments?
Yeah, I'm wondering if we know what this square footage of the existing home is now.
Current square foot, Archie, is just about, I believe we had a 3-season room off the back, and with that, it was right around 1,100 and change.
Okay. So the home is a bit bigger, I guess, right? A little deeper than what you had there before.
Correct.
You have centered it nicely on the property and pushed it back. I think you did probably the best that you could with it. So with that, I don't have any further questions, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Philip?
No problem, looks good.
Okay. I don't have any questions. I already made the comment about the sideline setback, so I'm all set. I'll entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
I second it.
Motion made and second. Any discussion? Hearing none. Roll call vote. Chair votes yes. Philip?
Yes.
Archie?
Yes.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion to grant the variance for 261 Daniel Street for Kyle and Kelly Bertram to remove their existing burnt out home and construct a new home on this property that sits, that's a single family home that is 20.5 feet from the right side yard setback where 40 is required, given the relief of 19.5 feet, and 21 feet from the left side yard side setback where 40 feet is required, given the relief of 19 feet. This is all shown on a drawing entitled Variance Application Plan, Kyle and Kelly Bertram, 261 Daniel Street, Franklin, Mass. By GW Site Solutions, 248 Elm Street in Blackstone, Mass. With the date being, when you got here for a date here, Bruce?
You know what? What was the date it was submitted? I just noticed I didn't date it.
I have a submission date of December 19th, 2022.
Let's go with that.
There you go.
Okay, motion made, second. Any discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for a vote. Roll call vote. Archie?
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
Philip?
Yes.
Chair votes yes. Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah, see you, Bruce.
I read the wrong one before. Do we have 745 Manila Street now? I didn't read that.
Yeah, that's the one we're doing now, yeah.
Okay. Approximately, time being approximately 7:45, 97 Miller Street, Thomas Burkhardt. Applicant has constructed a 10 by 12 deck that is 33.4 from the left side yard setback, where 40 is required. The building permit is denied without a variance in the ZBA.
All right, we're in receipt of a letter dated January 18, 2023. Attention, Town of Franklin Zoning Board of Appeals regarding 97 Mill Street, to whom it may concern. This letter is to inform the Franklin Zoning Board of Appeals that my application for a variance for a 10 by 12 foot wood deck is being withdrawn without prejudice. The application will be submitted with the updated home ownership form. Yours very truly, Tom Burkhardt. I'll entertain a motion that we let the applicant withdraw this application.
So
Hang on a minute. Did somebody want to comment on this? Or somebody got a question? Who's talking?
I think it's some background noise, Bruce, from one of the mics.
Oh, from Phillips? Oh, okay, from one of the mics. Okay.
He's partying over there. I do have a question on this, Mr. Chairman. So if they withdraw this application, what do they have to do? Apply a second time?
Yes.
Okay, so as far as the packet I have received, I don't have to hold on to this, something that I can recycle. I'll be receiving a new one if they do intend to apply.
Yeah,
that.
they're gonna reapply. There was some questions about who applied for the permit. The person who applied for it probably shouldn't have applied for it because he doesn't own the property anymore. So just to get things copacetic, he's withdrawn his application and they'll have to start anew.
Well,
Anyway.
I believe Philip moved the motion. I'm going to second that.
Okay. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Roll call vote. Philip?
Yes.
Archie?
Yes.
Chair votes yes.
And finally, at 7:50.
Okay, Philip, one more.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead, Philip. Yeah.
Finally, at 7:50 PM, the last one of the night, 78 Collin Ave, Ryder Davies. Applicant is seeking to construct a 24 by 30 attached garage that is 11 feet from the right side. Setback of 20 is required. Applicant is seeking to increase the impervious coverage in WRD to 27%, where 15% is allowed. The building is denied without a special permit from the ZBA.
Is the applicant present?
Yes, good evening, Mr. Chairman. Edward Cannon on behalf of Ryder and Laurie Davies, the applicants. They are here with us this evening, along with Bill Halsing from Land Planning, and for both technical and moral support, Paul Griffin, who is the applicant's uncle, who has extensive construction experience. So he's here in case there might be some technical questions. Mr. Chairman.
Okay, hang on one second. Hang on one second. Is there any abutters for 78 Conlin Ave? Just for the record. Probably wore them down. Okay, go ahead, Mr. Cannon.
Sure, thank you, Mr. Chairman. And if it's okay, Mr. Chairman, I can sort of take the board through the site and the criteria, if that's okay.
Do what you have to do.
Okay, will do. Ms. Thayer, is it okay if I could share my screen, please? Great, thank you. Okay. So this is 78 Collin Avenue, and so this gives the board a sense of the location. I know the board's familiar with this subdivision, sort of just up behind BJ's. 78 is sort of across the street from BJ's, sort of in the middle of that stretch of Collin Avenue. Just for reference, this is the zoning map. So it's in the single family residence 4 district, and the water resource district sort of bisects the lot diagonally. Just to give a frame of reference, the total lot area is 15,000 square feet, 100 feet of frontage, 150 foot depth.
Go ahead.
Oh, here we are.
Oh, we're looking for you.
Yeah. Oh, here we go. Okay, great. Thank you. Okay. So, so we're here for 2 forms of relief. The first is a 9-foot variance on the northerly sideline. The requirement is 20 feet. The proposed would be 11, so we're seeking a 9-foot variance. It complies in all other respects with the dimensional requirements. Quickly, for the zoning or through the variance criteria, that unique conditions affect the lot but don't generally the zoning districts, which is that the proposed variance only impacts 78 Conlin by the allowing the construction of attached garage. No other property within the district would be affected. 2, that a literal enforcement would involve substantial hardship to the owner. The proposed variance is not a substantial detriment to the public good. It only impacts 78 Conlin Avenue, and not permitting the variance would really deprive them of a garage, where many other homes in that neighborhood do have garages, and also would deprive them of the ability to improve their home, improve the value of their home, which would also improve the value of the surrounding homes. And lastly, that the variance will not substantially harm the public good, but substantially derogate from the bylaw's purpose. The bylaw's purpose is to make sure that there's not overcrowding, that structures aren't right on top of each other. Similar relief has been granted. There are other homes in the area with similar kinds of setbacks and garages. And so this would fit in nicely with the existing neighborhood. So it's not going to harm the neighborhood or derogate from the intent of the bylaw. Because it's in the water resource district, and because of the sort of lot-wide impervious coverage, we were asked to apply for a special permit, and we are seeking a special permit because the portion that falls in the water resource district. And you can see on this plan here the approximate line of demarcation. The area to the south is not, the area to the east is, and that encompasses most of the proposed garage. And so there's sort of two sets of criteria. So the traditional special permit criteria is that the proposed project addresses or is consistent with neighborhood or town needs, which is that a two-car garage would be consistent with this neighborhood. Two, vehicular traffic flow, access and parking, pedestrian safety are properly addressed. There'd be no impact to traffic and traffic flow. Three, public roadways, drainage, utilities, and other infrastructure are adequate or will be upgraded to accommodate the development. There'd be no need, just a slight residential addition wouldn't require those kinds of changes. Four, the neighborhood character and social structure will not be negatively impacted. Again, this will fit in with several other homes, actually most of the other homes in the neighborhood. Five, the project will not destroy or cause substantial damage to any environmentally significant natural resource, habitat, or feature, or if it will, proposed mitigation, remediation, replication, or compensatory measures are adequate. The locus is not fully within the water resource district, so I will address there are, as the board knows, certain criteria under those area, but otherwise there's no environmentally sensitive area on this particular property. That would be impacted. Sixth, the number, height, bulk, location, and siting of buildings and structures will not result in abutting properties being deprived of light or fresh air circulation, or being exposed to flooding, or subjected to excessive noise, odor, light, vibrations, or airborne particulates. Again, we have a residential addition, not excessive light, odor, any of that. A lot of separation between the various homes. It's a very pretty subdivision. So there'd be none of those kinds of impacts with this particular project. And seven, water consumption and sewer use, taking into consideration current and projected future local water supply and demand and wastewater treatment capacity will not be excessive. Again, we have a single family dwelling. That won't really, the garage addition won't really impact any of that. It is on town water and town sewer. And then because it's in the water resource district, the special permit criteria unique to that is that under G 185.40 G2, those submittals really don't apply. There's no hazardous chemicals, no hazardous waste, no storage of hazardous materials or waste, no sewage flow greater than 2,500 gallons a day, and no need for ground monitoring wells we would submit. And then the special permit criteria under G3 is that one, the groundwater quality resulting from on-site waste disposal, well, that doesn't apply because we have sewer. Proposed control and response measures adequately and reliably mitigate the risk to groundwater quality. Again, he's done a nice job. He's proposing two health tech systems, one without of the water resource district and one within to actually increase the recharge from what's there presently. And three, the proposed use is designed to avoid substantial disturbance of the soils, topography, drainage, vegetation. There'll be some soil disturbance when the construction's built, but otherwise minimal. And again, they'll be improving the infiltration. And then G4, it's G3 sub 4 goes to the traditional special permit criteria, which we've already gone through. So for all of those reasons, Mr. Chairman, members of the board, we would respectfully ask that the board permit the 9-foot variance and then allow the special permit to allow the construction of the proposed garage within the area of the water resource district.
Is that your presentation?
Yes. And I can leave this up if the board wants to refer to it, or I can.
Yeah, you can leave it up because I got a question for the engineer. But first, I want to know because I can't read it on the plan if it is there. The applicant is proposing to build a 24 by 30 foot garage. Is 30? Where is the 24 and where's the 30? Is it the 30 from front to back or from side to side?
Yes, if I may, this might help to blow it up a little bit. So the 24 is front to back, and then the 30 is this stretch here in back.
Oh, okay. I can see it on that one there a little bit better. Yeah, okay. I can't see it on this one at all, but anyway, the one I got in front of me. Okay, I guess the question could be is, the standard width garage, the standard 2-car garage would be 24 by 24. What prompts him to want to go 30? The question's just out there. That's all. I'm just curious.
Ryder, could you or Paul possibly shed some light on that?
Yeah.
Through the chair, if that's okay, Mr. Chairman.
One was aesthetics when we designed the plan. 2 is usability. I typically drive pickup trucks, and be able to get a pickup truck in there, I need a little bit bigger width than one of them. As you can see, the front span is 18 on the left-hand side of the new proposed garage, and then the other side's 12 for a passenger car.
Okay. Typical, like they do in Florida, 18 is usually like a 2-car garage. In the other garage would be maybe 8 feet, but would be a golf cart garage. But anyway, the other question I got is, because I can't really make it out, maybe if you could just state it out. What's the pre-existing condition as far as coverage, impervious coverage?
If I may, Mr. Chairman, Bill, could you take the board through that or answer that question for the
Yep.
chair?
Can you folks hear me? My video's not working. I'm hoping the microphone works.
Yeah. No, I can hear you fine.
Okay. Yeah, pre-construction coverage is 2776 square feet, or about 18.5%.
18.5.
Yeah, and post-construction is 3526 square feet and 23.5% impervious coverage. So in order to mitigate that, we're proposing infiltrating both the existing house and the proposed addition, which essentially brings our impervious coverage down to 1,800 square feet or 12.3%.
Okay. I think that's the first time I've ever got an answer from an engineer, the number that I'm looking for, and that's exactly what it is. You're probably over a little bit right now, correct? Yeah. And with the other, you're going to be more, but you're going to mitigate it down. You're going to be better than what you are pre-construction with the mitigation. So
absolutely.
Okay, great. That's all I'm looking for. Megan, any questions?
Just a comment. Yeah, I think the 12.3% sounds, fantastic to bring it better than it was. So that's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. Chris?
No questions, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Okay, Archie.
Yes, I do have a question, Mr. Chairman, and it has to do with the the application itself, if you look at the last sentence, it's a question I have. I'm not quite sure what it is, what they're looking for. It says the building permit is denied without a variance and a special permit from the ZBA. So would
They
this
need they need a dimensional relief would be the variance, would be the sideline setback.
okay,
And
so there's
because they're in a
special
wa-
permits for the
because-
resource district.
Yes, because they're in a water resource district, they can't exceed 15%. So
Okay.
they're already there before they do anything by putting the addition on and putting the Caltech systems in. It'll mitigate it back to under the 15%, which is usually what we look for when
All
they're doing it.
right, that's fine. I just want to check one more time, make sure there's no abutters.
Yeah, I was gonna ask that again anyway, but when we get done, but
We do have, you know, the garage is probably the size of the existing house. If you look at it from Google Maps, it's small, it's a tiny home.
yeah, well, they're all tiny
I'm
down there.
I'm sure he needs it with his truck, so I have no further.
Years ago, I always said this was like a subdivision and stopped in time, you know, up until, you know, maybe 10 years ago, most of the people that lived there were the original owners of the house. But since then, you know, people have come and gone. And, you know, now that the new people are in there, they're trying to, you know, upgrade the neighborhood or upgrade their own properties, you know, to make the neighborhood better too. So, but yeah, I don't really have a problem with it either, considering it's on sewer and water and whatever else. So it would be consistent with what we've granted in the neighborhood before. The only thing I would question is if the Caltech chamber, I mean, if you ever had to get to the house in the back of it, you still got 10 feet, 11 feet on the right-hand side, but you got a Caltech system there too. If there was any work that had to go on in the back that needed a truck or a six-wheel or something to get back there might be a problem driving over the Caltech system, but I suppose we'll let them worry about that. But
At 21 feet.
anyway,
on the
Philip,
side. Actually, no, that's where the Caltech's going.
well, there's a Caltech sitting right there that's off the existing dwelling. I don't know if they could put that out towards the front and, you know, leave room to get by there, but that's really not our problem. That would be a problem for him in the future. I guess there's another question too to the owner. You got a shed there. It looks like it's over the line.
Yes.
How long has that shed been there?
Probably 15 years. And for the record, I own 70 Conlin Ave as well. That's the abutting house on that side of the house.
Okay. You're going to take the line out and make them both on one lot?
I have no anticipation unless I sell the home.
Is the shed movable or what? How is it? Is it on a concrete slab? Is it on a footing?
Nah,
or is it
it's
just
on
there?
cinder blocks. It's a small Home
Okay.
Depot shed.
Okay. You know, you might
It's to be moved.
think, huh?
Plan set shows that it's
Yeah.
to be moved. It says shed to be moved.
Oh, it does. It says that. So
No,
I'm looking at the
that's not
Caltech
that
one.
one. He's looking at the left-hand side.
Oh, you get two of them there.
Yeah, the shed
Yeah,
on
he's got
that
a bunch
side
of
where the
sheds in
addition's going in is being taken out completely.
The one way in the back? That one looks
No,
like
the
it's
one
close to
that's
the
on
line,
the
too.
right hand, the addition side, the proposed addition side will be taken out completely.
Okay. Oh, I see the shed to be removed right there. Okay. I didn't see that one. I wasn't paying attention to that one. I was looking at the other two. But they're both in non-compliance, but anyway, we'll leave that up to the building commissioner. I don't want to, you know, I mean, technically you should move them, get them whatever the setback is required, you know, off the sideline. And there's different rules for accessory dwellings. You can be a little bit closer to the sideline than the house. But anyway,
What about the outside bar? Is that going to stay?
Yes, that's pretty far away from the back of the proposed addition.
Okay.
Is that another building or a lean-to or what is that?
It's built out of Texture 111 and 2x4s. It's just a home bar.
What's that sit on?
It's a tiki bar.
It
It's
sits
wide
on
open.
a little bit of a concrete pad.
Okay, because that could be considered a little bit too close to the line too. We don't have the measurement, so I'll leave that up to the building commissioner. But anyway, all right, just keep in mind that, you know, you may be asked to move those things in the future to comply with zoning, because we didn't give you any relief for those. But anyway, anybody else have a question or a comment?
Philip, I don't know if you got to Philip or not, but
Yeah, Philip, well, he might be sleeping by now. It's late.
Oh. Everything's good.
Okay. All right, with nothing else to be said or commented on, I'll entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
So move.
Second it.
Motion made and seconded to close the public hearing. Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote. Philip?
Yes.
Archie?
Yes.
Chair votes yes. I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion to grant the variance and special permit for 78 Conlin Avenue for Ryder Davies to construct a 24 by 30 foot single-story attached garage that is 11 feet from the right side yard setback where 20 is required, giving them 9 feet of relief. And the special permit is able to increase the impervious coverage in a water resource district to 27%, where 15% is allowed, giving them a relief of 12%. As shown on a drawing dated December 27, 2022, entitled plot plan located at 78 Conlin Avenue, Franklin, Mass, by Land Planning, Inc. of Bellingham, Massachusetts.
Including the mitigation too, also. It's shown on the plan, but just include that in your thing.
And to include.
You don't have to say what it is, but the mitigation is shown on the plan, actually.
As shown on the drawing, yes.
Yeah. Okay, they all got the right dates. They all got the right dates. There was no, this was revised. The engineer.
Yeah, no, the last revision date is December 27th, 2022. It was received at the town hall on January 4th, 2023.
Okay, great. Okay. Philip, you seconded that?
Yes.
Okay, motion made and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Roll call vote. Archie?
Yes.
Philip?
Yes.
Chair votes yes.
Thank you.
Great. Thank you all very much. Have a good evening. Appreciate that.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, you also. All right, we got the last thing under general business. We have the approval of the meeting minutes of January 5th, 2023. If everybody's been provided a copy, either electronically or handwritten, or not handwritten, but written copy. If you haven't had a chance to read, I'll give you a chance. And once you've read it, I'll entertain a motion for approval.
I think we're that busy. Did everybody get a chance to read this?
Yes.
Yes.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion to accept the minutes for Thursday, January 5th, 2023.
Seconded.
Motion made and seconded. Any discussion, additions or deletions? Hearing none. Roll call vote. Chair votes yes. Philip?
Yes.
Archie?
Yes.
Okay, I guess that's it. Casey, anything to come before the board? The next meeting is February 2nd, correct?
Yes.
Okay, anything else?
No, sir.
Okay, thank you very much.
Casey,
All right,
thank you.
everybody, have a nice night.
Motion to
Night.
adjourn.
Motion to adjourn, non-debatable. All those in favor signify by aye. Roll call vote. Chair votes yes. Philip?
Yes.
Archie?
Yes.
Thank you, everyone. Have a nice night.
Good night.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
Thank you.
Recording stopped.